Low vibration equals resistance. If you're feeling in low vibration, if you're feeling a lot of negative energy right now, realize this. There is something that you're attached to that is causing you to feel weighted down. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to get out of being stuck in low vibe and exactly how to really let go in a way easier than ever. Now, the thing I wanted to share with you as well, if you've ever seen the part in Harry Potter where Ron and Harry in the very first movie, they are going through what is called the Devil's Snare. There's this bed of like little viney things that they fall on top of. And what happens is Hermione, being all smart and stuff, knows that if you just surrender, these little vines stop trying to strangle you, and they stop trying to pretty much strangle you to death. And then what happens is you just naturally fall through so that they could get to the Chamber of Secrets. So in a very similar way, the more you fight, the more you claw when you're feeling in low vibration, the more that these vines will strangle you. But if you were to just surrender and stop feeding it, stop fighting it, you would just fall right through and then end at the Chamber of Secrets. The Chamber of the Secrets is high vibration. That's how we can think of it. So when it comes to low vibe, realize that surrendering is the best thing you could do. And one of the things that I've realized anytime I'm in low vibe is what I do is I ask myself, one, what am I trying to control? If there's something that I'm trying to control the outcome of, then that causes resistance. Resistance also comes from the identification with the ego. I want to show you guys this technique. This is my room right here. So in my bedroom, this is, I get up every day. Oh, I got this little, I know it looks kind of like some kinky thing. It's this little copper pyramid thing. And it's supposed to help with EMFs, energy, stuff like that. I know it looks pretty esoteric, but I found it to be pretty cool. I want to show you a little technique though. So this is my little meditation spot right here. I get up every morning. This is my closet over here. And what I do is I stare at a candle flame. Now imagine this. Imagine that when you're staring at a candle flame, you're able to observe your thoughts. Now what happens is normally when we're feeling like we're in low vibration, what happens is when we feel we're in low vibration, we are identifying with our thoughts. We are literally thinking that our thoughts are us. Think about it. If we say, I am guilty, I am in low vibe, anything you place after I am, you are identifying with. But if you realize you're just feeling in low vibration, and that feelings change, you then start to detach yourself from the thoughts of being in low vibe. So a lot of this is about looking at what you're feeling and allowing it to pass by. When I first learned meditation back in 2012, what happened? What happened is when I learned meditation, I was trying to control my thoughts. I knew about the law of attraction. I was worried that if I were to think negative thoughts, I'd manifest negative things. But then what I did is I just simply started to observe my thoughts and allow them to be there. That was the biggest game changer. So imagine that when you're feeling low vibe, you just imagine, you stare at like a candle flame and you let the thoughts come in and you let the thoughts go out. It's almost like you're at a park and you're watching people walk by and you're at a park bench. You don't chase people, you don't chase, and try to figure things out, try to control people. You're just watching them come up and you're watching them go away. And you just observe. That's one of the best ways to get out of low vibrations, to realize you have an ego avatar. And when you think your ego avatar has to do everything, you feel very weighted down. You feel literally heavy. But when you instead observe it, you then move to this space energy. You move to this space to where you're not feeling so heavy. So if you are feeling low vibration and you feel stuck, it's coming from a rigidness of meaning, which means a rigidness of a story about what's going on in your life, or a rigidness of identifying with your thoughts. Identified with what's happening on the outer reality. When instead, if you were to go inside and instead of trying to control it, you were to surrender to it. Instead of trying to be in the devil's snare and move around all fast and stuff and try to like yank it around your neck and like escape. Instead, if you were to just simply relax, you would find that relaxing, that energy then begins to free itself up. So one of the things that I do anytime I'm in low vibe is I become aware that I'm trying to control shit. I become aware of my ego. And I realize that my ego is trying to do everything it can to gain a sense of certainty, but that's causing pain. Now, maybe you've heard me talk about, different levels of consciousness, but you got like shame, fear, guilt, and then eventually you have neutrality, which is where you observe your thoughts. And then above that, you have willingness, reasoning, love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. Now, these different levels of consciousness, what happens is if we feel low vibe, it's because we are attached in meaning in the lower vibration and the lower vibrational emotions. There's a story there that is weighing us down. Literally think of it like this. Let me come into my garage and I'll show you guys this little example. Let's imagine that right now, somebody gives you a weight, and that this weight represents a type of meaning, some meaning from the past. And imagine that your parents gave you a weight that said, I'm not worthy, or a weight that said, where something actually bad maybe happened in the past and you thought you had to control your life. And then you pick up this weight and you carry it around because you think it's yours. You don't realize that maybe your parents gave it to your parents and your parents gave it to you. And imagine this is a story or a belief that is literally weighing you down and you're carrying it with you. And the only reason you feel stuck in low vibe is because you think you have to keep carrying the weight around because the weight's felt comfortable. It feels comfortable after so long of carrying it around. But what you can eventually do is realize that all you have to do to get out of low vibe is to make the choice to let it go. To let go of the weight, to let go of the belief maybe your parents gave you. I know for me, I had to, at one point I was given a weight that said, hey, you have ADHD, you have problems focusing, because between 7 to 16 years old, I had no freedom in my life. And then at 16 years old, I all of a sudden was able to be and have a personality, and I was like really loud, and people would say, you're really loud. You have ADHD. And I went to a doctor and they said, yeah, you have ADHD. And they gave me this weight. And then I carried it around with me, and I felt like there was something wrong with me. And I would just lug it everywhere I go, thinking there's something wrong with me, and thinking that I had to take the Adderall in order to focus. But then eventually what I did is I learned meditation. I learned how to observe my thoughts. Then I observed the weight. I observed the fact that somebody told me that I had ADHD. Then I took it, I made it my own, and I identified with it. And then I even said, I am ADHD person. But then eventually what I did is I observed that thought, I observed that story, and then what I did is I simply started to redefine it. I changed the weight. For me, the weight change was then I learned how to meditate. I learned how to observe my thoughts rather than react, because I saw online that there was research that showed how beneficial meditation was. That completely changed my life. And then I started to look at all these different patterns of meanings, of these different weights that I've been carrying around, thinking that they were my own, not knowing that I could just let them go at any point. Now, why do people have problems letting go? It's because they identify with the weight and they think they should carry it, or it justifies their past. So like having like a painful past, you may be reluctant to give away the weights because it's like, well, that makes me who I am. And it was wrong that they did that to me in my past. So there's a desire to be right. Now realize this too about being stuck in low vibration. If you are stuck in low vibration, you are implying that the stuckness, that it's permanent. What if this though? What if your stories or your beliefs are creating your reality, and the only reason you are stuck in low vibration is because you believe you're stuck in low vibration? If you were to change the definition, and it also means that I'm stuck, meaning that this happening right now is not a part of the process. This, what is happening right now, is shouldn't be here. And instead, if you were to loosen up the definition on being stuck, you'd find that you then become unstuck. It's because of the rigidness of meaning that keeps us stuck in low vibration. The key to becoming free is letting go of the meaning. Letting go of the meaning, knowing that we took on the meaning at a certain point in our past because of some autopilot thing. Maybe it was something that our parents gave us or whatnot, but that we can let that meaning go. And the key to letting that meaning go is realizing that the meaning isn't serving you anymore. Is realizing, there was here's another weight that I was given when I used to feel like frustrated and in low vibe. My dad is I've been talking about this a lot, but my dad's a very nice guy. A nice guy is a shadow, by the way. A nice guy is somebody that is very agreeable or people-pleasing. It doesn't want to give tension necessarily. Now, nice guys normally get walked on. Nice guys normally get taken advantage of. And what I had to do is 5-6 months ago, I started working through this process of shedding that pattern that in a way, I realized that it wasn't nearly as intense as my dad, but I'd have this desire to please people, to be significant, to have a lot of YouTube subscribers, because that would reflect my worthiness. But then what I did is I realized that I picked up this like weight that I was given from my dad, and I started carrying it around, and that was that, I need to be nice and not cause tension with people. And then what I did is I started to realize that the weight was actually holding me back. Now, nice guys and people pleasers, they believe if they are agreeable, then more people will like them. Well, then I started looking at that weight and realizing actually that's not true. There's actually a lot of pain that comes. You don't have your needs met. You feel like your sexual polarity goes away or goes down. Then I became aware of the weight, and I was like, wait, literally. I was like, wait, this isn't actually serving me. So then what I realized is that this isn't serving me, and I'm holding on to it. We always hold on to things, by the way, because there's a payoff. There's sometimes a negative payoff. If we are attached to our negative past, we may be attached to it because we get the payoff of being right, or of being a victim, or of, things should have happened to us when we were younger, or we get some type of payoff that justifies something. The payoff I was getting was, oh, if I am this way, then I will feel like I'm a good person, or I will not be in tension. It's a safety mechanism, really, being a nice guy. And then what I realized is, okay, that's what was there, but actually there's a lot of pain with this. It's not actually authentic. The needs aren't met. The polarity isn't there. So then I started looking at this weight and like, wait, why am I holding it? Somebody gave me this weight. This weight's not even mine. And then I simply made the choice to let it go. But it's not just letting it go that was powerful. It was also letting it go, but then having a new value, building a new value. That value to me was authenticity. So even if that authenticity causes tension with people, that's okay with me. You see the difference? So basically, I got and became aware of the weight that I had. I then started seeing the negatives of the weight by being aware of it that I wasn't aware of before because I was in the autopilot. And then I made the choice to let it go, but then I also wired in a new value. I literally picked up a bigger, nice, maybe not a bigger weight, maybe a lighter weight, or something that helps me fly, but it's like this belief of authenticity. I'm authentic, sometimes brutally honest. I cause tension now just, in setting boundaries. It's not a bad thing. It's something that I've redefined myself as, and I feel way more free now. So one of the main parts and the main reasons you feel stuck in this video is because you've been picking up weights that aren't yours. And the only reason it's hard for you to let go is because you're trying to justify your past, or you're trying to justify something that's not serving you. What you do is you become aware of actually how it's not serving you. And then you start to become more aware in your personal life of how it's weighing you down. But realize that all getting in high vibration is a letting go. It is a letting go of old meaning. When you let go of old meaning, you then become free. If you're feeling low vibe, it's also trying to control everything. So the thing that I encourage you to do is to just let go and realize when you let go, you then let go of resistance. You then raise your vibration. The other night I was trying to sleep and I was like, why can't I sleep? I was trying to control going to sleep. Here's the thing. When you try to control things that are very natural in your life, it just doesn't work. You can't control love. You can't control trying to go to sleep. You have to surrender. So you become aware of these things. You observe them. I then started observing my thoughts come in and go out. If you're feeling stuck in low vibe, maybe the definition that you're stuck in low vibe is what's causing you to be in low vibe. Maybe if you let go of that and you loosen that up, then you start to feel more free. Maybe if you let go of the old meaning that you give in things, you'll then start to just naturally raise your vibration. That's really the key to this process. It's a letting go of old meaning. It is a letting go of positionalities, of being right, even about your past or whatever it is. And it's a recognition that your natural state of being is meant to be in high vibe. It's just about a letting go of old meaning and the definition of even being stuck. And as you do that, you'll find that your vibration naturally just begins to raise. And as you observe your thoughts and not identify with your thoughts, you are not guilty, you are not fear, you're not these things. You are feeling it, and the reason you're feeling it is because of some type of meaning, some kind of weight you picked up that maybe your parents gave you or you just picked up or, But when you let go, everything changes. If you like these metaphor style videos, could you be a favor and hit the like button? Let me know if you like these kind of style videos. Also, there'll be a meditation for aligning, raising your vibration permanently. It's a very powerful meditation that we originally did live. Listen to that meditation for 21 days. Watch how it changes your life. Read the comments to see what's possible. You'll see it linked below. Other than that, or you'll see it right here as well. Other than that, I'll see you on the next video. As always, peace, much love, and namaste.